Hello and welcome to the Passenger Seat Podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded for my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. I'm Becca and today's episode is stationary at the Morris Minor Owners Club National Rally at Chateau Impney for 2023. There'll be a full show kind of rundown what we got up to in a separate podcast, but this particular podcast is me talking to some of the wonderful young members that I've had the joy of speaking to and spending my weekend with here at National Rally, and also some people that have never come before, as well as people who have been coming for years and years and years, hearing a little bit about their lives with a Morris Minor, what they've enjoyed about this weekend, what they enjoy about classic car ownership, and all those wonderful things, just to kind of keep sharing those stories. So we're going to get started with Dara, and you're going to hear from him, you're going to hear from James, you're going to hear from Sarah, and you're going to hear from Yayan. And I want to thank them so much for joining me in the back of Peggy before it was all loaded up, and telling me about their cars and their weekends. So we're joined by Dara here in Peggy now, and he's come along all the way from Northern Ireland in Percy.
Yes.
Your daily driven Morris Minor. How long have you had Percy?
Got Percy December past, so just come up to 6 months now.
Yep.
Daily driver ever since.
So when did you pass your test?
About mid-December.
Mid-December. So was that
second
before
week
or
of
after getting Percy?
Before. I had no car for like maybe 2 weeks or so after passing the test.
Yeah.
And then I got him. I remember having him for New Year's Eve.
So how did you find the transition from having passed presumably in a modern car to driving Percy regularly?
It wasn't too bad because I had a gap between the test and the getting into Percy. So it was, when I got into it the first time, it was alright. It's like yourself. You can't just work your way up through the years, and you get into fourth, you kind of leave it there, and you're kind of cruising down. But I think the one mistake that I made when I got in was that I tried to do a block change from like fourth into second because I was used to second being higher in the speed range, if you know what I mean. But once I kind of clocked in my head, the speeds. Yeah, once
you get to
roughly
know the car and you know, okay, it sits comfortably at this in this gear and stuff like that.
The rule of thumb that I always used was you change out of first at 10.
Yeah.
So out of second at 20, out of third at...
Everything they teach you for your driving test, and then it's slightly different when you get yours.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't too bad, really.
And how did you find the big drive over? That's got to be the furthest distance you've done since you've got it.
By quite a bit. It was alright. We kind of just... Dara to Belfast we do often enough, just for the club meets and that.
Yeah.
And then the ferry was just 8 hours sleeping on a sofa, and then Liverpool to here was, I think, we took our time, so it was about 6 hours in back roads. We really did take our time, though,
Yeah.
We got stuck behind a tractor at one point. That was kind of on it. We got here for about 12 minutes. It was alright. It was fine. We just settled in, cruise 50 miles an hour, bit of chat, bit of music. It was grand.
And you've really taken to enjoying the car, I think, in your 6 months. On the WhatsApp with the young members, you're always out and about in it, and you've really gone, actually, no, I am going to take it to these places, and like you say, get involved in the Northern Ireland branch and go along to some of their meets as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was younger, looking at cars, and it was great. Lovely cars to look at. But I remember thinking it was a shame that no one drove their cars.
Yeah.
People don't really drive their cars very often. So when I wanted to buy a car, I was I knew I wanted to get a classic car.
Yes.
Very easy entry classic car, lots of support, lots of parts availability and cheap parts, that kind of thing. So it was kind of the one to go for.
So you wanted a classic car, but you wanted one that you could actually get out and enjoy and see the world through the windscreen of. And how's the Morris Minor been for you for that?
Pretty faultless. I got lucky because, when I was buying the car, young person on a budget, so you're kind of thinking, well, how much am I going to spend on this car? Because it's the most expensive thing I ever bought.
Yes.
And came close to buying a few things that I probably shouldn't have. But a friend of mine, who has also a classic car, and he says, just spend the extra money and get the best one you can.
Yeah.
Which was very good advice, because I would not want to be dealing with any sort of body problems, because thankfully per se is pretty sound all over.
Yeah.
Alternator. There was a radio fitted before I bought it, so it has speakers down in the footwells.
Yeah. So lots of those
solid.
things that are like make it that little bit easier to daily drive, like you do.
Exactly. The modern comforts that you need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the necessary ones.
Absolutely.
Nothing over the top, but
no.
you still feel like you're driving an old car.
Oh, definitely.
But you're having fun with it.
Definitely.
So this is your first national.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Big trip over.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like it's been worth it?
Absolutely, it's been worth it. I don't think my wallet would agree, because half my wages have gone to the auto jumbo in the first 2 days.
Everyone's been coming back to camp. Like, you all go down there first thing in the morning and then have come back with arms full of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you go the next morning and I'm like, how is there still stuff left that you need to buy?
That's a good question. Because there's lots of tent and stuff. And every time you go down, you see something new.
Yeah.
Like, I bought myself a pair of binoculars. I don't need a pair of binoculars, but I just bought myself a pair of binoculars anyway.
Yeah. I mean, but you might need them.
I might need them.
Nice period accessory to have in the car.
Have them now.
Yeah.
That's it. And I got some chrome surrounds, and then some bits and pieces presents. And I think like some other parts that I actually need as well, but I forget which ones they are.
So what's been, other than the auto jumbo breaking the bank, what's been a highlight of the weekend for you?
Probably meeting the young members in person for the first time, because, long distances and that. But it was good crack down the camping site, so everyone just came very relaxed, very chill, nice and nice and quiet, just around the campfire and having good times.
Yeah.
Big fire pit. It was good fun.
Just getting to know everyone, because you've been in the WhatsApp. Was it since you got the car or just before?
Just after, I think.
Just after. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
near the beginning.
All of the names have been coming up and saying stuff.
Yeah.
And you joined us for our online Discord and stuff.
Yeah. And
evening.
The video call thing. Mm-hmm.
But this is like your first, like meeting people, putting faces to names.
Exactly that. Because I watched your videos, and I watched Friar's videos, and I watched Steph's videos. So seeing them in real life is kind of like, that's how tall they are. Do you know what I mean?
Seeing us crawling out of the tents in the morning, looking worse for wear. Yeah, big reality check. Mm-hmm. So, what's been your favourite memory that you've made with Percy since you've had him?
Favourite memory? That's some pretty good ones. I like just kind of. I always like it when I show people the car for the first time. We were going to a birthday party. It's actually Sarah's birthday party. Yeah. In a minute, on New Year's Eve. Yeah. Right? And it was the first time I drove in the car to my friends, and I pulled up to her house, and I just get out, and this is my new car. My friends, they're good, they're excellent. But
perhaps never seen one like that.
They've never seen one like that, and I was like, "Oh, do you want to sit in?" And the usual jokes like, "Oh, they fall through the floor or whatever." And, yeah, fine. And I remember specifically opening the bonnet and showing them the engine, and they said,
so small.
Said, "Where's the rest of it?"
Yes. Yeah.
Fair enough. But I remember it was after I came home, because that morning one of my headlights failed and I had to get a new seal beam unit. Yes. When I came home, my bonnet catch broke, so it was literally out fiddling underneath the grill, fixing the bonnet catch in for the New Year's Eve countdown, and then I went back out to fiddle with the bonnet catch to try and make it work again. That was the first thing I did in 2023. Yeah.
And it's good that you're showing your friends it and stuff, because I found that getting people that have never seen a classic car, never sat in it, sitting in it and stuff like that is a great way to get them maybe interested, bring them along to a couple of shows, see if they're tempted.
I'd be going to a couple of shows with different people. Maybe people who have never been to a classic car run before. Yeah. Usually with the younger people there. I can't think of a time we've been not the younger people there. But the Northern Ireland branch were very welcoming when we went to the Easter Monday run. And I brought Dara along this weekend, so different kind of experiences. I would love to do that when I was 15, 16, 13.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you ever so much for having a chat. No, I hope you enjoy the rest of it.
I'm thrilled to be on here.
Yeah.
Great.
And you're staying over tonight and then heading back home tomorrow. So have a very safe travel home.
Thank you very much. We will.
And we'll hear from you again soon, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. We're now joined by James, who is here in... Does your Morris have a name?
It doesn't actually. It's kind of embarrassing. When I bought it, it was in bits and it did have a name. The lady told me and I've since forgotten. I need to ask her again.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because there's a few people who are quite superstitious about renaming
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
cars.
change its name for any good reason, but I need to ask her.
So when you got your Moggy, it came to you in bits and pieces and things like that?
Yes, it was a bit of a sad story where her partner had stripped it down with the intent of restoring it and then sadly passed away. But yeah, it came in many bits with lots of welding that needed doing.
Yep.
And yeah, it's almost back on the road. Well, it's back on the road. Almost there now.
Yeah, you've been driving it around quite happily this weekend, so
yes,
I'd definitely say it's on the road.
Only a few issues.
It's just a rolling resto, I guess, because
exactly.
you're still doing little bits and pieces. You're partway through the paintwork and stuff at the minute?
Yeah, so it was on the road just after last year's National, actually. Drove it for a few months and then I took it off the road November time, because then I changed the chassis legs because they were getting a bit rusty. And yeah, it's back on the road kind of March. So yeah, paint's mostly there. It's only had one coat, but we're getting there.
No, it looks really good, especially for stuff that you've done yourself.
Yeah, rough and ready, but functional.
Yeah. And you're enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you've also got like a Land Rover, yeah? How does it compare? Like, if you've got both cars ready and going in the morning, which one are you picking?
So at the moment, I've only got space to store one car where I live. So I've only got one car at once, the other one's at my parents'. So it's just the Morris at the moment. But the Defender's got character, but this has got just more character. Yeah, yeah. And when did you get it? It's March last year.
March last year. So you're just up to just over a year of having it.
Yes, yeah.
And pretty much a year of it being on the road and enjoying it. Have you got like a favourite memory that you've made with it so far?
To be fair, it's probably coming to events like this. I don't get to convoy in Morris's that often, but I really enjoy that.
We had a really good run out yesterday, and you were right in the middle of the convoy, weren't you? So
it was running most of the time well.
Yeah, and you must have had the joy of out the front window, Moggies, and out your rear window, you got classic cars as well. How have you found National? Because you came for a little bit last year and had to go.
Yeah, I only made it for one night in my Defender.
Yeah, but you've been here for the whole weekend this year. How have you found it?
Yeah, no, it's really good fun. Yeah, enjoy the runs out, the evenings.
Yeah.
Yeah, campfires.
Have you got a favourite thing that's happened this weekend?
I enjoyed the trip we did out yesterday to the bus museum. That was really interesting. And yes, good run out.
Yeah.
Genuinely just the whole thing's been enjoyable. So
yeah, and we've all survived some of your more unique camping features, such as your
stoves. It sounds like a jet engine. And
yeah. Because you're really like hands-on. You restore lots of little bits and pieces, don't you? Obviously the car is one thing. You've restored your Defender as well, haven't you? So you're really into getting hands-on with the cars. What got you into that?
So my granddad had various classic cars growing up. He had a couple of Alvises. My dad had a Triumph Spitfire for a while, and we've always had Defenders in the family. Yeah. So it's just kind of natural. I wanted a Defender, and I picked the Morris up by pure fluke, really. Yeah. But yeah, it's worked out well.
And you're enjoying it, and
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Are you much involved with like your local branches and stuff? How are you finding the support?
So I've kind of moved around a bit over the year. So
because you're still at uni.
Yes, I'm at uni, but I'm on placement this year. So I've only been down near Bath for kind of 9 months at this point. Yeah. And the local branch to me isn't that active down there. The Bristol one is, but it's a bit of a journey. So. Yeah.
So are you finding like the young members side of things quite useful?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more fun going out with young members.
I mean, we're all very fun Morris Minor owners, but we try and make sure that there's something for everyone to enjoy with us. Good. Do you think you'll be back next year?
Yeah, definitely.
And what are you hoping to have done to your car before next year?
I've just picked up a new carb for it, so that'll
off the auto jumble. Yes. Yeah, you were one of the ones that have been piling stuff in.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, hopefully get that fitted, get the paint finished, and yeah, just finish it off really. Yeah. Enjoy driving it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for coming for a chat.
Yeah, no worries.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Where have you got to get back to tomorrow?
So it's Bath tonight.
So
it's only an hour and a half away. It's not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, well, enjoy it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. So, now I've got Sarah in the car, and you came along with Dara, so I had quite a long trip in the Morris Minor. Was it your first trip in the Morris Minor?
No, we've done a few tours and whatnot before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my first time, thankfully.
You've been around locally, but probably not 6 hours down from Liverpool to here.
Nope.
How did you find it?
It wasn't as long as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It was really nice, comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So.
Had you been in many classic cars before Dara got his?
My great uncle had a Spitfire.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I was in that for a few times, but I was very young.
Yeah.
So, but he ended up having to get rid of that.
And you've been in a Spitfire this weekend, a couple of Morris Minors,
Yeah.
and the VW.
Yeah.
How have you found it?
It's really interesting to see how different they feel.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Have you enjoyed it?
Definitely.
Because you don't own a classic car, you've just come along with Dara as a friend for a bit of fun and to enjoy the weekend. Is it what you thought a Morris Minor Owners Club weekend would be?
Absolutely not.
No. What surprised you?
How welcoming everybody was.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't feel stupid, even though I still don't really know about cars.
Yeah.
But people explain things to me, and I have a lot more car knowledge than I had before I got here.
Yeah, because I think it could be easy to think that we all sat around the campfire and we're like talking about like carburetor dismantling or whatever, but that really wasn't the topic of conversation, and it was just we're normal people, surprisingly. Yeah.
Definitely.
And what's the most interesting thing you've learnt about cars this weekend, do you think?
What a clutch looks like.
Oh.
I did not have any idea. It just was just a disc.
Is that because walking around the auto jumble?
He was pointing things out and telling me the names. So, yeah, I did not expect it to look like that. No, and it's just a press it, turn it kind of thing. And I thought it was some sort of arm.
Yeah.
But I know.
Now you know. And what's been like your highlight of the weekend?
I really enjoyed the museum yesterday.
Yeah.
With all the not trains, the buses.
Yeah.
It was good to get out on the bus as well. I've never done that before.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we were all over those buses and just having a really good time, and it was nice to kind of get a bit of space, I think, from the field and just have a bit of fun driving around.
Definitely.
What's been the favourite car that you've driven in this weekend?
I really liked the Beetle. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the favourite.
Is that what? Would you be tempted to buy a classic after this weekend?
A wee bit.
A wee bit, maybe.
Need to make more than minimum wage, though.
You've not passed your test yet?
No, I have.
You have?
Nearly a year.
Yes, you've got... Corsa, yes. Everybody has a Corsa in the field, yes. Yeah. And how have you found like doing longer trips in classics compared to that?
Honestly, Dara's car is definitely more comfortable than my own.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more comfortable. Not as fast, but feels more stable.
Yeah.
I think. Except when he does the rolly thing. It's
Is that on purpose?
Yes.
Yes, just to wind you up, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. And does it feel like a bit more of an adventure when you're in...
Yeah, definitely. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And how was like going on the ferry with it and stuff?
It was, I don't know, I go on ferries every summer, so it was just the same, but it was weird coming over without family.
Yeah.
But the ones we came over with, they immediately felt like family already.
Yeah, because you guys came over with the Northern Ireland branch, didn't you? So.
Yeah, and we had dinner with them before, so we got to know them a wee bit, and they were lovely.
Oh, that's good. So would you come again?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You'll be fighting to get a lift over again next year.
Definitely.
Oh, great. That's wonderful news.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much for having a little chat with us.
Yeah, thank you for having
me. Safe travels back tomorrow.
Indeed.
Thank you. Joined by Yayan now, who has come along from North Wales, and you're here with Patch and Vic, the Beetle.
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's Morris Minor. It's got a very special body kit.
Very special Morris Minor that has some Mexican heritage.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. And you're my first guest that it isn't like their first or second national. You've been coming to nationals for a while.
Yes.
Because you've had Morris Minors for a while.
Yes, I think this is my 8th or 9th national, but I can't quite remember.
And how?
No, 8th, because there wasn't one when COVID happened.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yeah. And how long have you had Morris Minors?
9 years-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be 9 years in end of August I've had Patch. So, yeah.
And was Patch wasn't your first?
He was.
He was?
Yes.
Yes. And then you've just had others alongside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patch is the best one. Then I had Laura, which was pretty much identical to Peggy, except even more rotten. And
Rude.
Yes, the front fell off her one day with the starting handle. And I had a Traveller that I paid too much for, was very rotten, and then I got rid of that. Then I brought a shell for 120 quid and cut it up into and then I've just brought another one that's the most rotten two-door saloon I've ever seen, and I've spent the weekend buying all the panels for it.
Yeah, everyone has come in and said, so the biggest problem this weekend has been the auto jumble, but I think you're probably the most prolific on the auto jumble. Might not have spent the most, but you certainly
spent enough.
You spent enough.
A spot welder and all of the panels.
That might have tipped you over.
Yes.
So have you got everything you now need?
No. I still need the front inner wings, both sides. Probably all the chassis legs, but I think I can ignore them and pretend they're fine. And the door posts. That's what I need, both sides, obviously.
And you came to this weekend like 50-50 on, am I going to restore it? Am I going to break it for parts? What made you go for, I'm going to restore it?
The parts were much cheaper than you can get online, so...
Big selling point for coming to National.
Yes,
then,
definitely.
Is the auto jumble, and there a lot of people have said they were a lot better priced this year than they were last year.
100%. This year's auto jumble has been way better than last year's. Much better in terms of the quantity and the quality, and I think it helped that they were doing the whole every pitch is free, bring what you want as long as it's car stuff.
Yeah.
The car boot section was a little bit disappointing. Last year the car boot bit was better, but yeah, it's very, very good auto jumble.
And now we've just got to wait for next year when you might bring a different, if it's finished.
No, what'll happen is I'll get bored of it in 2 months, sell it at a horrific loss.
Yep.
And I'll be in Patch next year. Yeah. That's what'll happen.
Yep. Yeah.
But, yeah.
And you can bring the photo for the miners that didn't make it board next year.
Add it to the list.
So, what got you into wanting to buy Morris Miners in the first place?
I don't know, and other people have asked me this. So it's not like a family thing, as in my dad doesn't know one end of a hammer from the other.
Yeah.
My mum can't even drive. She likes old cars and everything, but my mum and dad, when they first got together, they had a Morris Minor, OUK 956F, which is long since dead. And like, I wasn't surrounded by classic cars growing up or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't honestly know. I think I just thought they were interesting, and better than new stuff, because new stuff's a bit dull.
Yeah. And you can't buy all of the parts for one of the new
No.
stuff in a field in the middle of nowhere.
No, you really can't. That's definitely a plus point, that you can buy them with extra grass added. And,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. So what's been your highlight of this weekend then?
Either the museum or buying a spot welder, which might not work, but I've brought a spot welder. So
that's very much like a great representation of National. We had some fun and went out in the cars, but also here's something that I got on the auto jumble that I really wanted.
Yes.
And
yes, it'll definitely make putting new floors into the wreck I've bought much easier.
Yeah.
If it works.
If it doesn't, it's another thing to fix that will then
just add it to the list.
add it to the list. Yeah. And how's it compared to previous Nationals? Had a good
Better
one?
than last year's, definitely. Definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely not the worst.
Good.
Yes. Yes, been alright.
Nice. That's what we like to hear. And you've had lots of fun with the Young Members. You'll stick
Yes,
around
as
with us
always.
next year.
Yes, even though I'll be on my Zimmer frame next year, and you know,
We
on my
welcome
8th
all.
hip.
We welcome
But,
all.
yes.
Yeah, 8th hip, new retinas from the welding and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us for chat.
Thanks for having me. Yes.
And are you heading back to Wales tonight?
Eventually. At some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, safe travels back, and
yes,
thanks very much for coming.
That's all right.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It was great speaking to them, and even though I've spent all weekend with them, I still learned a little bit more about their cars and how they got into classic ownership. It's been a fantastic weekend, and spending a little bit of time with each of them, chatting to them in the car and also warming up out of the wind was fantastic. We're gonna head off now and embark on the big old drive home. If you were at Chateau Impney this weekend just now, I hope you also had a fantastic time. Thanks to everyone who came and said hello, and you can hear all about what I got up to and where I was in the next podcast. But in the meantime, drive safely and happy motoring.